everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you yet another delightful recipe well requested by numerous of my Facebook followers, and that recipe is halwa and dosti roti. And for those of you who may know, there are different types of halwa, but this one I'm going to make today is the one that is prepared by the traditional Hindus when they welcome a newborn baby into the family. So these are the ingredients that I will be using to put this together. Here I have my all-purpose flour. Let me just put it aside there. I have here another set of all-purpose flour. This is for the halwa. I have some brown sugar, elaichi, halwa masala, turmeric, ginger, condensed milk, and evaporated milk. Before we start putting the halwa together, what I will do first is mix my flour and set it aside so we will get that nice soft dosti roti. In here I have 2 cups of flour, and the amount of baking powder I used was just about 1 3/4 teaspoon of the baking powder. Mix this well, combine both ingredients together. You can add sugar, you can add yeast if you want, but I am just using baking powder and flour. Start pouring your water in this little well here, and this is room temperature water that I am using. Bring in the flour a little at a time. We do not want a stiff dough. Remember, we want some nice soft roti. Add water a little at a time so you do not use excessive water and you end up in some trouble, because when the flour gets too soft and you do not know how to bring it back, you end up with a different consistency. And this is one type of roti I do not have on my YouTube channel by itself. So now if someone wants to get my dosti roti recipe, they would have to take a look at the halwa as well. Clean the ends of your bowl. You do not want a messy bowl, because Nani and Aji will not be pleased looking from above. They always teach us to clean the sides of the bowl when you mix flour. If it's a little bit too sticky, just add a little bit of flour. Get all that from the side. Clean up your bowl with some extra flour, and you just roll it into the dough. I do not want to over knead this dough, but I just need it to be nice and soft. Pour a little bit of oil to the top there, and you cover this with a damp paper towel or tea towel. Set this aside, and we shall move on to preparing the halwa. And now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to parch this flour on a medium heat. We need to take out the heaviness from this flour. We are not going to allow this to get a brown color, but by all means, if you like your halwa very dark in color, you can probably parch it a little bit longer on a higher heat. So as you can see here, this is nice and light. I have been parching this for like maybe 7 minutes or so. I do not want it to be darker color than this, so I'm going to take this off the stove just like this. And while this is cooling down nicely, I will step across to the counter and start putting the roti together. So what I'm going to do here now is make these in some nice little dough balls. Remember, this is Dosti Roti. We do not want it to be thick. You do not go heavy on the size of the dough balls or the loya. Just like that. Some people prefer their roti thick. Some people want to use the size of the tawa, so it's less work for them. You can work accordingly. So here you have it. I'm going to leave this to sit for like 2 minutes until I prepare the paste for it. In here I have some butter, piece of Crisco, some of you may know it as lard, some of you may say cooking, and a little bit of ghee. Mix these 3 ingredients together, and by all means you can use butter alone, you can use ghee alone, you can even use oil by itself. It's all up to you. Dust your surface with a little bit of dry flour. These are like pancakes. It's so small. Got your piece here now. Make sure you get it all to the ends. Dust it with some flour and put the other one on top of it. This is Dosti Roti. Mere dosti mera pyar. Some people may call it 2-in-1 roti. So that's one finished there. Like, here it is, the Dosti Roti put together. I'm going to put this to sit and rest for some time while we finish off that halwa. Cover it back with a damp paper towel because you do not want any crust over that. Pour this out in our sifter here now because we do not want this to be lumpy. You see all that? We're going to discard that. In goes the evaporated milk, sugar, whisk this, mix up that nicely there. As you can see, this is thickening. In order to start this process, we need this to be very thin. So I'm going to add some room temperature water and my cardamom powder. And guys, remember, you can spice up this as much as you want. You could add cinnamon, you can add your vanilla extract, you can add clove, whatever spices you like in your desserts. And so I'm just using cardamom powder. In goes the ghee, and I am sure someone might be wondering, can I use oil? I do not recommend oil. You would not get what you're looking for. I have never seen anybody use oil while making this. This ghee is nice and hot here now. In goes some geera. We just want that to be lightly toasted. We do not want it to get dark in color. I have here the halwa masala, turmeric, and the ginger. I make it into a nice thick paste. In goes the masala, turmeric, and the ginger. And there are different brands of halwa masala. Just in case anyone wants to know which brand I'm using, it's the Chatak brand. I'm just rinsing out this bowl here with a little bit of water. You want to keep turning this for a couple of minutes until it is properly well cooked. So this is properly well cooked here. You would know the difference. You can smell the difference when it is properly cooked. I'm going to strain this mixture in here because we do not want to have a lumpy halwa. Look at that. All the lumps came out. I'm going to get that masala mixture from the bottom there. This is a little bit too thick, so I'm going in with a little bit of water again. The masala mixture and this flour mixture is well incorporated there now, and all we need to do is keep stirring this. You do not want to multitask at this point in time. You have to keep stirring this, or else the flour will start sticking at the bottom, and we do not want that. Of course you can use a spoon, but this just works well for me. So you have to keep turning this until it starts thickening up. If you do not want the ginger strings to be in there, what you can do is add the grated ginger to the flour mixture, and all the strings will be strained out when you are straining the flour mixture. If you do not have fresh ginger, you can also substitute it with the ginger powder. And this does not require a lot of cooking, because remember, the flour was pre-cooked before starting this process. You know that nice song that goes with halwa? Mausi rasoye halwa, are mausi rasoye halwa, are batarwa ko de, mausi rasoye halwa. Okay, let me not get copyright violation for singing Rakesh Yankaran's song. As this starts thickening up here now, I am going in with the condensed milk. I like my halwa nice and creamy, so I'm using about 3/4 cups of condensed milk. And this is something you can make it how thin you want, you can make it how thick you want. It's a personal preference, but do keep in mind that as it cools down, it will become thicker. And if you look carefully, you would see some bubbles coming up at the top. That is an indication we are almost to the end process. This means that the flour is well cooked and it is nice and light in there. There's no raw flour taste or anything like that. So if you are making this for the first time, make sure you look out for that little bubbles that will be coming up. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to take this down just as it is, because as it gets cool, it will be thicker than this. Do not leave this uncovered, because it will give you a nice thick coating and it will cause the halwa to be lumpy. Let's start the roti now. Roll all the ends so it will be nice and thin at the edges as well. The tawa is heating up there nicely, so this is ready to go onto the tawa. I like using my cup. I do have my brush, but this does it faster. this roti is very thin, so you do not want to leave this too long before you turn it over. This is the very same paste that I use when I put the two together. Some butter, ghee, and some Crisco. This combination adds softness to the roti. See how it is swelling? It will not swell like a sada roti because the ends will start loosening out very soon. Make sure you allow the ends to cook properly. You can just beat it up like a bus-up shot. Not too much to rip it apart. Just like so. And here is my nice, soft, thin Dosti Roti, guys. You see how nice and thin this is? Look at it, very thin. This is how I know Dosti Roti to be. So there you have it, my halwa with Dosti Roti. Let me go in for the taste, the moment that I have been waiting for. OMG. This tastes so delicious, guys. I am tasting the ginger in it. I'm tasting the geera, the flavors of the milk. Oh my god, this is a must try. I just have to go in for another piece. One piece just does not do it. This is so rich and creamy with the milk. Guys, you must try this recipe. If you like this recipe, please leave me that nice big thumbs up at the bottom. Leave me a comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.